How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm a little cold, hence why my nose is a little red, but that's fine. So Olga, if you wouldn't mind telling us what you do.
Right. Many things. I have my own business called Private Goodness,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a corporate responsibility and ethics consultancy.
Mm-hmm.
But today, I'm here to talk to you about my project called Networking Gone Wrong.
Yay! This is such an important topic because so much of being in the creative industry requires networking. I would say that networking is almost part of the job description. Yet, like for me, I know that I'm not always comfortable, especially I think since we've been in lockdown, we don't necessarily see other people. And so that skill just very quickly dissipates because you're no longer exercising that muscle anymore. So I think that this is a really good topic. And I think you had so kindly suggested for us to go through a list of like do's and don'ts, which I think is great. Yeah, so let's do that. So the first do would be...
First do would be do it. It would be show up.
Fair.
It's many of your peers are not going to network because they find it awkward and difficult, and it can be awkward and difficult. But if you just do it, you're already ahead of the competition.
Great. So then what's the thing that you shouldn't be doing then?
What you shouldn't be doing is you shouldn't be putting too much pressure on yourself. When you go, you don't have to go and make a sale and wow everybody with your amazing conversation skills. As long as you go, don't offend anybody, you'll be fine. No pressure.
Awesome. Okay, so the second one.
The second do ask questions. Ask people questions. You don't have to know everything. But you can just spend all of your time networking, asking other people what they're doing instead of talking about yourself.
Fair.
And don't sell. Don't show up and sell at your first breath. And it's all about relationships and building trust. So if you start with your, this is my sales pitch, that can be, I'm sure you've had that experience many times. It can be a bit off-putting.
Yeah, it's a bit like, oh, okay. There's a lot of like, please do this now. But it's like, you can't do it in real life. No, I think those are really good points. So what's the third one then? What's the third do?
The third do is very important, to treat everyone with respect. It's the kind of the bare minimum of networking, but people don't always do it. But I think that we should just treat everyone with respect. And don't offend people. And sometimes people think, but I don't want to offend people. We spend a lot of time at Networking Gone Wrong Instagram going through all the different situations when people offend one another. But very quickly, don't comment on people's gender, even if you're complimenting them. So, for a woman, you're good at this. No. Or about people's sexuality, about their age, about their race. And it's very important online as well to remember that sarcasm can be very easily lost.
Yeah, 100%.
So sometimes you say, well, I'm not sexist. I'm saying sarcastically. Just don't.
Fair enough. So sorry, did you go through the don't already? So the do's and the don'ts.
Yeah. So don't treat people with respect.
Yeah. Great. So the fourth one then would be
generous with your knowledge. So don't try to, you've learned a lot, and don't try to hide, all your secrets. The more you share with others, the more they'll share with you. Yeah. And the more generous people are in general, the easier and more useful the world of networking is for everyone. So please be generous. And the number 4 is don't get too drunk.
This almost sounds like it's like a personal experience.
Because it can be difficult, particularly like when we met at live events and when you have a glass of champagne and people keep pouring it there. No, don't. It's hard enough to remember people's names sober.
That's true.
Don't make it more difficult.
That's true. I also find that if you don't remember, this is one of the worst. It's when they remember your name and they come up to you and they're like, "Hi, Erica," and you're sort of just like, in your head thinking, shit, what is your name? And then the worst part is, have we met? But then you can't like have this face of like, hi. So you're just like, I think this is what happens with my face. It's just like, hi.
You know what I do? I think that I live near a lot of theaters, and there are lots of famous actors walking around all the time.
Oh, right, okay.
But I don't remember that I saw them in movies. I think that I met them at networking. So I'm like, hi, how's it going? And then like 10 minutes later, I'm like, no, this person doesn't know me. I know them. Oh, it's very embarrassing.
It's fine. I'm sure they get it all the time. All right. So what is the fifth do that we should be doing when we network?
So the fifth do is to listen to other people and be interested in their ideas. So if you're interested in other people and they tell you a story and you're like, wow, this is so interesting, then they will think that you are great because you appreciate their talent, you're interested in their story, therefore you must be very clever and wise. And that's very good for introverts as well. So if you're really interested in others, people love it when people are interested in them. So that's an easy one, you know. And the don't touch people. Particularly in the pandemic, right? But shall we ever not be in a pandemic? Don't touch people anyway, because people. For me, I'm quite sure people pet me at networking sometimes, like that, or they like touch your arm. People who don't know you, or we discussed this when we did a podcast together. How somebody just kissed my hand.
Oh yes, that was quite bizarre.
I just respect people's space.
No, I hear you. I think that there, like, for a period of time, it was okay to touch people's arm. I think now there's like forearm if you really need to do that. I think one time when I can't remember when this happened, but I think somebody grabbed onto my arm when they were talking. I think I jumped because when you don't expect it, you're like, what's happened? Like, why is somebody grabbing on to me? I think I jumped or like I flailed my hand or like something that you absolutely should not be doing. And I think that person was a bit like, and I was like, oh my God, why did I do that? Like, there's so many things that I've done. It's just like, you shouldn't do that. Like, ever. Don't make that face of like, have we met? It's like, oh God. It's like, don't do that. Don't jump when people touch you. Don't flail don't do things like that. It's rude on my part, but you know, I get it. So when you say these things, it's like, I understand why you're saying that.
We need to learn. We all learn by mistakes.
So generous. So generous to say that. I'm just like so embarrassed. Okay, so what's the sixth do?
Sixth is to follow up. And so when you've met somebody at networking or at a virtual event, drop them a line later to say, not with a sales pitch, but just to say, hey, it was really nice to meet you. Here's my LinkedIn page or my Instagram. It would be great to stay in touch. If you haven't, you can do very soft sales, for example, if you have a newsletter that you can show them, or follow up on something with a conversation. For example, you can say, oh, you told me about portfolio can be in this form. Have a look at this if you have time. You know, you can do it to discuss this news story. This is what I read about this news story. Softly. And it's important for virtual events because I've actually been to a number of virtual events where you have a great conversations, but then you don't share details. And then it's like, well, we all had a wonderful time. Bye.
Yeah, no. But it's like literally bye forever because I'm never going to be able to find you ever again. Yeah.
Yes, and I was thinking about, so many connections, that conversations you could have continued having but didn't. So make sure that you don't miss out on that.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Yeah, and so that was a do follow up, but don't think that some people are more important than others for any reason, but also because of their title. We had one person who submitted a story to us at Networking Gone Wrong, and she said she was at a corporate party where she worked, and there were lots of guests, and somebody came up to her and said, oh, what do you do? And she said, well, I intern here. And they said, oh, you're an intern? You are no use to me. And then she just walked off. And when we had this conversation, it was maybe 10, 15 years after, but she remembers how hurt she felt still.
Yeah.
It's very raw to her. And so if you treat people like someone is more important than another, or somebody isn't important, then they will be important in no time, and they will remember how you treated them.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So let's just assume equality. Don't be impressed by titles as well, because somebody is vice president of something, it could just be him and his brother, you know?
No, fair enough, 100%. Okay, so the last one, the seventh one.
The last one. I think the last one for do is can be hard, but I think try and enjoy yourself. It's a revolutionary thing to say about networking, but I think it's possible, because if you go to a room full of people who you've never met, who all have lifetime of experience of doing interesting things, you can build brilliant connections, not necessarily business connections or connections of future clients, but just learn a lot from a crowd of people who have between them hundreds of years of experience.
Yeah, no, fair.
So try and enjoy yourself. There is a certain beginning, don't put too much pressure, but also try to have fun. Try and see the positives of the situation. It's not a, you don't have to do it, but if you do, try and have fun. And lastly, with the last don't give up. If you have an awkward and embarrassing experience, like I have, like you have, like everyone who follows our page of Networking Gone Wrong have done, it's fine. It's if it's particularly interesting, send it to us at Networking Gone Wrong on Instagram, and so we can all learn from it. Or just don't think about it too much, and then the next time will be better. What I think is that you, in particular, if you're in the art world, you are unique, you are wonderful, and not every place where you go is going to be full of people like you, of people who are interested in the same things. But as long as you don't give up, you will find your tribe, and you will find your followers, and everything will be great as long as you don't give up.
Ah, so positive, so sweet. Oh, well, thank you so much for your time and expertise. Thank you, and I'll put all your information in the description box below. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for inviting me.
Bye.